octane politics complicating the auto bailout bill. So much riding on this now. Jobs of millions of Americans at stake. So let's cut to the chase. Where do we stand tonight? And our panel is here to talk about that. New York Daily News columnist Errol Louis, also morning host for WWRL Radio in New York, CNN chief business correspondent Velshi, and Republican strategist Kevin Madden. Ali, let me start right with you. You know, GM and Chrysler may not have enough money to make it through the end of the year. Right. If there's not some sort of deal, if the White House doesn't step in, what happens?
Well, there's some time to continue to work out some way to finance them, but General Motors is running out of time. General Motors has admitted that it may run out of money by the end of this year. Now, the ability to get some money from the government means that these companies can then try and raise money elsewhere. But if there's no money on the horizon for General Motors within the next few weeks, that company could be forced into bankruptcy.
Kevin, we just heard right before the break David Mattingly reporting that the lawmakers most opposed to the bailout have foreign car makers in their states, these non-union companies, competitors to the big three. Do you think politics are at play here?
Well, I think that Republicans are going to make the argument that fiscal sanity is what's most important. You can make the argument for foreign car makers and their industry having a presence in lots of states, not just the South. What's most important for Republicans here is that there's a reorganization that's going to help the long-term viability of the industry, that's going to help these workers maintain their jobs on a long-term basis instead of just a short-term tournament, and that we're going to save the taxpayers' money. That's what's
Kevin,
most important.
How does that reorganization happen if GM goes into bankruptcy like Ali's predicting?
Bankruptcy is reorganization. Ultimately, the industry is going to have to find a way to reduce their legacy costs, to reduce a lot of the burdens that they have on their industry if they're going to flourish in the future. And right now they haven't done that. They haven't provided a more detailed plan for how they're going to reorganize and compete in this global market.
Neither did Citigroup, and they got $50 billion. But the bottom line is, it's not my case, but GM and Chrysler make a very strong case that bankruptcy for them, and particularly in GM's case, may mean liquidation, not reorganization.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's right. Buyers are not going to buy cars if they don't know the parts and the service are going to be there 4 and 5 years out. So we don't know what kind of a collapse we're going to see. We're already seeing dealerships experiencing credit problems, and they're the ones who really sort of make the connection between the consumer and the auto company. So we're already in trouble. We don't know, even if they are able to get some kind of a bailout in place in the next few weeks, it may already be too late. We just don't know. This is uncharted territory.
And Kevin, let me go back to a political question here. I mean, if they go under and if they don't reorganize or aren't able to, under the argument that we've heard Ali and a lot of other people make, that they can't if they go into bankruptcy, it's over. I mean, we're talking millions of people out of work. Aren't Republicans going to pay a serious political price for that?
Well, look, first, Campbell, I think the alternative is that these companies go under anyway, is that if we keep throwing good money after bad, there is no reorganization. We're only offering a tourniquet. There's no long-term restructuring. And I think that Republicans, you know, if you look at the way voters are looking at this, they don't want to see good money thrown after bad. They want to see somebody stand up for the taxpayers and somebody put forth some sort of plan that's going to bring the industry back to long-term viability. And Republicans can make a very cogent argument that they're standing up against essentially the nationalization of this industry, and they're standing on the side of taxpayers.
Ali, too big to fail. I mean, it was the argument we heard made on behalf of the banks. Does it work in this case?
It was true. I mean, because we haven't seen Armageddon doesn't mean something worse would have happened if we didn't bail out the banks. Now, the issue here is that there are many failures in Detroit. The UAW is responsible for some of them. The leadership of the car companies is responsible for some of them. But really, you have to take a look from a little bit higher up and say that there have been major strides made in the last few years. They were really gaining on some of their problems. This may not be the month to drive a stake into the heart of organized labor to prove your point. Right now, we may want to save the auto industry and finish that discussion.
And of course, in so many of these states, the states have been subsidizing these foreign companies.
Right, it's not a freebie. Either you subsidize them this way, or you allow them lots of tax breaks to come in and manufacture your cars in different states. One way or the other, taxpayers are encouraging car makers into this country.
Ali, let me disagree with you on the idea that this is driving a stake through the United Auto Workers Union. This is instead bringing them into the table. Everybody has an incentive here to help the industry maintain long-term viability, and they're going to have to make some concessions to help their companies become more competitive.
All right, guys, we got to end it there. We're out of time. But to Errol, Ali, and Kevin, many thanks. Appreciate it. When we come back, the Obama family has gotten a ton of attention for their search for a dog, but another puppy moving to Washington, getting all the attention tonight. We will explain.